So what are the bookies saying, Matt?
Well, the bookies are now putting the odds at 5 to 4 instead of 5 to 1. So previously, any $1 bet would have netted you $5. Now, any $4 bet will net you $5. So your payback isn't going to be so great because the bookies think it's more likely that the World Cup in Qatar will be canceled. The reason, obviously, is Sepp Blatter stepping down. He was the main force behind this bid staying on. I mean, ever since 2010, when FIFA awarded Qatar the World Cup in 2022, most people were saying it was absolutely insane. I mean, the country has no soccer history. It gets up to temperatures of 120 to 140 degrees during the summer when a World Cup will be held. And spending to build the 8 stadiums necessary to host the event would have to top $200 billion. So it makes absolutely no sense at all to anyone else but apparently Sepp Blatter and the other members of FIFA, most of whom have been arrested or indicted. So now that he's stepped down, the likelihood of that being pulled is a little bit higher. Having said that, this country has already spent a heck of a lot of money to build this. They're going to spend $35 billion on a subway and metro station alone. They've built a city north of Doha for 200,000 occupants, at least for 200,000 tourists who come to watch the World Cup. And they've had serious problems with migrant workers. A lot of accusations of human rights violations. 1,200 migrant workers have died since the start of this. And a union trade group says that it expects another 4,000 union workers, migrant workers to die before the World Cup happens. So I think a lot of people would be happy to see the World Cup pulled out of Qatar. The players probably not in the least, because entire European soccer leagues have had to change their schedules to work around a schedule change for the 2022 World Cup. If they pull it from Qatar, ostensibly you could go back to a normal schedule for Premier League, for Bundesliga soccer. And then, of course, it makes a lot more sense to have it in a country that would be easier and a more climate-friendly country to visit with fewer human rights violations. So the question is, what's going to happen going forward? We obviously have no idea. This is a news story that just broke. Sepp Blatter resigning. He previously had said over and over again it would never be pulled. And if this bid gets pulled, the question is what happens to the Russia bid, right? Russia is supposed to host the World Cup in 2018, and the FBI have said they are investigating, at least looking into, the possibility that that bid or this bid were won through bribery.
But if they pull the bid from Russia, the 2018 bid, I mean, that would cause a serious international incident. As for 2022 and Qatar perhaps not staying with the World Cup, some people have speculated or floated the idea of maybe the U.S. would make a good host given its leading role in this corruption scandal as well. This is just what I read on Twitter, that they would, the new members or the new leaders of FIFA would then just award it to the United States.
I agree that it would be a lot more fun to have it here in the U.S., Scarlett.
Where was it last year? In California, right?
I don't know, that was in the 70s, right?
No, there was a World Cup in 1994, 1990, I remember, something like that.
In 1990 here in the U.S.?
I'm sure someone can tweet me about this because they're much more on top of this than I am on the World Cup specifically, but we'll keep an eye on this.